We're really pleased again once to be supportive of Safer Gambling Week. It's a very important part of the calendar for us at Epic, particularly in our pillar, in the Safer Gambling pillar. We do a lot of work sort of worldwide, and it can sound like a bit of a cliche that every week is Safer Gambling Week in terms of the industry work that we do, but it is very true. But to have a focus on it, I think is important as well, to not just for the work that we do in our pillar, but overall within Epic, but also for the sort of promotion and the publicity that lets the wider public see the work that's already been done. It's certainly a focus of the work that we do, and the feedback we get from a lot of teams is not that they're undervalued, but it's normally only the sort of bad side of the industry that you hear, as opposed to the awful lot of good work that's being done by an awful lot of good people within this space.
I've seen a big change in safer gambling. Well, when I was gambling, 10 years ago, when I was just about sort of crawling into recovery, there was no wellbeing call for me. Nobody ever called me to find out how I was, or to sort of highlight my spend, highlight, more importantly, the time that I was spending, the time that I would never ever sort of get back with my family, with my kids and stuff like that. So the evolution that I've seen, if you fast forward to today, there are a lot more things in place. There are things nowadays that I wouldn't have sort of got away with, if you want to call it that, when I was out there gambling. So there's a lot more checks, there's a lot more balances, and I think there's a lot more empathy.
Just coming up to my anniversary with Epic of 2 years, and even in that short space of time, it's amazing to see the growth in the teams. I think it's also important to point out that the attrition rate seems to be incredibly low, which shows the passion that the teams have to it, the buy-in that they have in the job that they're doing. Which, speaking as someone in recovery from gambling addiction, it's hugely important that they're not having staff that chop and change. But yeah, the landscape is forever changing. It's not something that I think is ever going to go away, but there's a lot of work being done, in every department trying to help that.
Safer gambling has to evolve with the way people gamble. We are now in a tech-heavy, a tech-centric sort of world. The demographic that are coming into gambling recovery are a bit younger. We're now coming into the world of VR, we have iGaming. So as gambling changes, the safer gambling message has to evolve with that. Gambling is evolving at light speed at the moment, with different things coming on the scene. And I think safer gambling has to sort of at least hang on to the coattails of that, and be there at every stage of that. And it's one of our sort of core messages. We plan to be anywhere there is a risk of gambling related harm, and I'm sure we will be there in the next 10 years, if you like.